Hi, I'm Paul Brodie, Mitch behind the cameras, thank you. We have shirts, we have new shirts. We made Aramaki shirts. I used to make these shirts when I was the Aramaki guy back in, I started in 1999. So this is a recreation of the shirts that I used to make and sell back in the day. It's got the engine on the back, Mitch is going to show you. 18% off now, so almost Christmas. Okay, we're working on the BSA, and I got a few things to show you. The first thing is I worked on the fuel tap, and one of them had a screw in it. So I took it out and I made this one. So it's a little bit longer. So it'd be easier because this is, when you move these, it's not exactly like a Japanese one. It takes a bit of pressure. So I did that, and you can see how I pressed it in on the vise. I use high-strength Loctite, and that's a fix. I've been doing work on the bike, so I'm just going to run you through what I've done. I took off the air filter. You know what the filter looks like. Pretty standard Brit bike stuff. And there's the filter. Now, Fred, he's the man who assembled the bike and, you know, made it look kind of pretty. So these holes here match up. See that? So he put the sheet metal screw through those holes to hold it in place, and he screwed it right into the filter. Way to go, Fred. So I've ordered a new filter, and I'm not sure exactly how this works, but I'll figure that out. Okay, we've done that. I worked on the throttle cables. I never liked how the throttle cable just hung down and came in from the throttle. So these are out of the bicycle business, and it was a part of the a Shimano V-brake. And inside there's a Teflon liner, so that's nice. And so if we go over to the bike, I've got one on the throttle and one comes out of the carb, and they're different radius, but it turned out just fine. So see here, there's a small radius here. And then on the carburetor end, I got a much larger radius. So that worked out really quite nicely. And I don't have the cable coming down like that, because eventually that's going to snag on something, I think. So that's done. When I took off the tank, I took off the seat, and lo and behold, look what I found. I go, oh, it looks like an oil line here. And then I look down here, and it's an oil line that's kind of suspended, and it doesn't go anywhere. I think this goes into here. I think that's the rocker feed. I think. And I got to look in the manual, see where this goes. I don't know. And then I was looking around the frame. This is a part of the fender mount, and it holds this here. So that goes like that. And then I was thinking, I've only got one. Why have I only got one of these? So then I look over here. See that? It's broken. So I need to do a little frame repair. I'm going to take it all apart. The frame's is going to get repainted because it's been spray bombed. So we're going to make it nice and shiny and gloss. On the floor here is the old front wheel. That's the stock wheel. It's a single leading shoe. And I replaced it with a double leading shoe, or a twin leading shoe. This is off a Honda 450, probably 67, 68. So it's the same year as the bike. The bike is a 67. And I drill holes. I got a rim off Ashley Wildman, thank you. And it looked like the spoke holes were basically in the right angle and space. So I got spokes from Buchanan's, and I laced it up. and the holes were not quite in the right place. So I had to do something to make the nipples seat down into the dimple. And so I think last time what I did is I used a carbide burr and I notched it out a bit, but I wanted to be more accurate this time. So I made a special tool, and I'm going to show you that tool here. So here's the spoke, right, and the nipple, and it's 1/4 inch, and then there's a certain angle there. So what I did, I made up this tool. It's 1011 steel. I found it in my shop, and I'm not sure exactly what it got used for years ago, but it machines nicely. And then you can see I heated it up and I stuck it into cold water, and it got quite hard, and it worked really well. So the spoke is out here so that I can aim it at the hub, at the hole in the hub. So there's a little bit of a video that I shot, which is going to show you that of this in action, and it worked quite well. So that's how I modify a rim when the spoke holes are not quite at the right angle. Okay, this is the other side of the brake, and this is the backing plate. And I made up a torque arm. It's 1/4 inch 6061 aluminum, and then I also made a mount to hold the brake cable over here. So it's all hooked up and it's all working. You can see how nothing rocket science or anything, but it took a little while to make all the pieces and get it all to fit. This is at a little bit of an angle here, but then I had to compromise a little bit because this has to go past the fender and not hit the tire. It's not a lot of space in there really, but I'm happy with that. And then on the fender, because I put the torque stay here, I had to bend out the fender mounts a little bit. And then I had to make sure that I still got the fender in the middle of the tire. So that's all done. It needs to be repainted now. It looks, see all this lumpiness here? I don't know if you can see that. It's all lumpy. I think it got powder coated, and it was a poor job of powder coating, so it all has to come off, and it'll be nice when it's all done. So that's the brake. The brake is basically done now, and I'm waiting for the points, and then we can start the engine up. The points, the carb kit, the air filter, because I want to fire it up, see what it sounds like, and then I'll take it all apart. That's my plan. I ordered a rim for the rear so that I have 2 matching rims. Well, almost matching. This is an Acron rim, probably made back in the 70s in Spain. And this is an Excel rim. I just got this. I think it's a Japanese product. And it's going to match on the back. It's going to look fine. And I got new spokes coming. The hub is supposed to be black. So the wheel comes apart. I paint the hub. I lace it up. And I wanted to show you what's going on with the foot pegs. So the foot pegs are the same, basically. And looks like this one's bent a bit, but where this one goes on the right side, it was hitting the pipe. So I used my grinder and a belt sander and I smoothed it out. So now it goes on like that, and it's not hitting the pipe. So that's good, but I don't think the pipe can go any farther over there. That's just how it is. So I had to do a little bit of a modification there. I need to seal up the gas tank. It's a fiberglass gas tank, and I can't find any gas that does not have ethanol in it. So ethanol and fiberglass, not a good combination. I think it makes the fiberglass soft after a while. So I got some Caswell gas tank sealer. It comes in cans and you have to mix it together. So what I've done is I've done the prep basically. And what you do is to seal the tank. I use duct tape on the bottom. And then you use, sounds funny probably, but I use hot water and Dawn soap. It's dish soap. That's what it calls for in the instructions. And then you put in a handful of drywall screws and you shake it for a few minutes. And so it takes away any traces of oil, things like that. And the screws roughen up the surface, in theory, a little bit. I shaking it around, and I don't know how much it actually roughens up the surface, but that's the instructions. And then you rinse it all out. Then I put it over my heater. I got rid of the loss of the moisture. And then I do a bit of masking because you don't want any of the resin to affect the paint. So what I need to do now is to plug up these holes. So I'll take I'll find a piece of wood, wrap some masking tape around it, something like that. And then we'll make sure everything's up to heat. What you want, it's got to be between, maximum is 85 degrees and the lower limit is a 70. So I've got the cans over on my bench where it's nice and warm, and they're at about 74, so that's good. And the gas tanks, if I do the gas tank right now, it's at 66. So it needs to come up just a few degrees. So I'm going to find some wooden dowels, put some masking tape in there, and jam them in. That's pretty tight. Okay. Can you see the temperature? Okay, 77, 76. This one should be the same. Okay, 76. So that's well within the range. So I'm going to pour it into here. And then you have to mix it for a couple minutes. And then we'll pour it into the tank and give it a swish. Okay, here we go. I tried hard to find some ethanol gas, and the best I found, it was the Mark gas, which is the farm gas, and it's only got 5% ethanol in it. Everything else seems to have 10, so I tell them I'm a farmer and I buy gas. You have to take a 5-gallon can. You know, you can't pump it into a vehicle unless it's a farm vehicle. So the temperature, now it's been in the heat, 76.9, 77. So that's good. That worked well. Each of these cans, it gets used for one tank. it's not recommended you do 2 small tanks. So I need to switch this around so that it covers everywhere. I'm glad that I got raised when I did, because I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and you know, we had the best music, and the motorcycle boom was just happening. It was an explosion, really. So I know that things have changed now, but it was good to get, you know, a gasoline with no ethanol. It had lead in it, but that helped to lubricate the valves and things like that. So if you're about my age, maybe you feel the same way. I can't see what's going on inside, so I just have to kind of imagine and hope that I'm getting it all over. Okay, I think that'll do it. I cut up a box so I can put the tank upside down. So it's hard to see what's going on in there, so I'll lift it up a little bit. Can you see it coming out? It's not like there's a huge amount coming out. I guess a lot of it stayed in. It's not a lightweight tank, not like an alloy tank. Definitely has some weight to it. And now that I've added this, okay, well, it's coming out a little bit, so we'll just leave it like that for a bit. Oh, the threads look okay. These little bungs worked out fine. Yeah, the threads are pretty dry. Pretty rusty though. After about 15 minutes, it's supposed to go into this sort of a plastic form where it kind of sets up, and that's when you can scrape off the excess and things like that. So it's still dripping right now, so I don't think we're at the plastic state right now. Not yet. We'd like to thank you for watching this video. Mitch and I like coffees. If you buy us coffees, it helps the channel a lot. And next week, I'm going to work on the Excelsior. We're going to machine some casting so the frame can be assembled finally. So that's what's coming up. Thanks, and see you next time.